This is an ABC News special report.
And good afternoon. I'm Diane Sawyer at ABC News headquarters in New York, and we're interrupting your regular programming because President Obama is about to make his first public statement after the attempted terrorist attack on Northwest Flight 253 on Christmas Day. The president is on vacation in Hawaii. He has been briefed by his national security team, and at this moment, the suspect, a 23-year-old Nigerian man, is being held at a federal prison in Michigan after officials say he tried to ignite explosives hidden in his underwear as the plane came in for a landing in Detroit. President Obama is speaking today from the Marine Corps base in Kaneohe, Hawaii, and we'll hear from him in seconds. But Brian Ross is here, Chief Investigative Correspondent. We have word just in about who may be his sponsors, the terrorist sponsors.
Al-Qaeda of the Arabian Peninsula, Al-Qaeda in the Saudi neighbor Yemen, essentially said they took credit for the attack, praised what they called the hero, Abdul Muttalib, and said he was able to penetrate all the equipment and newest techniques and rub the CIA's nose in it.
Let's go now to the president.
We're taking to ensure the safety and security of the country. The investigation's ongoing, and I spoke again this morning with Attorney General Eric Holder, the Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano, and my counterterrorism and Homeland Security Advisor John Brennan. Thank you very much, everybody, and Happy New Year.
And again, the president coming off vacation, Kaneohe, Hawaii, the Marine base there, to speak about not only the terrorist on board that plane, but also what happened in Iran recently. I want to return to Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross. Among things he cited that have been done immediately, additional air marshals. Air marshal on board the plane, the Christmas Day plane?
No air marshal on that Northwest flight. There were other air marshals. Some I've talked to say they were diverted to flights from Chicago to Boise, Idaho, and wondered why they weren't on the international flights, but there were none on that flight.
Also said he's going to step up the pressure, including on Yemen, which you mentioned before, to disrupt the extremists. What does that mean?
To disrupt, dismantle, and defeat, particularly Al-Qaeda in Yemen, which has become the new staging area for Al-Qaeda attacks on the U.S., and they released a statement just before the president spoke, taking credit for the attack, calling Abdul Muttalib their hero, and boasting of his ability to go against American legendary intelligence and the latest and most expensive security techniques, as they say, rubbing their nose in it.
And let's turn now to White House correspondent Jake Tapper. Jake, a very different tone from the president than we heard initially from Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano in the last 48 hours.
Well, the message on Sunday was clearly for the traveling public not to be alarmed that they were on the case, but there were even some Democratic officials in Washington who thought that her claim that once the attempted attack took place, the system worked, definitely shaded the message that they were trying to convey. Napolitano took to the airwaves again today and saying that the system did not work and they need to figure out and get to the bottom of things. And the message from the president today was very much that he was on the case. They were looking at the database, the terrorist database, and the no-fly list situation, and they were also looking at increasing the scrutiny of passengers in airport security. They wanted to convey, of course, that the president is on the case, recognizes the seriousness of this issue. A Nigerian whose father had warned the U.S. Embassy about his son's extremist beliefs in November, being able to get on a plane to the United States, carrying 80 grams of explosive materials is, of course, a cause for alarm. And I think the Obama administration recognized that the president needed to get out there and show the American people that he takes it seriously and he's trying to change matters so this does not happen again.
Right, 80 grams, but that's just 3 ounces and yet so extremely flammable and explosive. I want to bring in Justice Department correspondent Pierre Thomas now. Pierre, the databases we've been talking about. He was on a, what, 500,000 list? 500,000 people on that list, and it didn't trigger the fact that he already had a visa to the United States?
Exactly. This list is called something called the TIDE list, and this is a list that they use for following up investigative leads. It really doesn't give you a lot of negative information about the suspect. Now, the no-fly list is what everyone is talking about. That list has about 4,000 people, and you have to be someone who's a known or suspected terrorist, someone who's associated with explosives. But the key question that Jake pointed out is why, when his father came in and said he has been affiliated and maybe associating with terrorists in Yemen. Why didn't the government take more action?
All right, Pierre, thanks to you, thanks to Jake, and thanks to Brian and the entire team. We'll be here tonight, of course. We're going to return now to your regular programming and have a complete wrap-up on world news. We'll even show you the machine that some people think might have spotted the bomber. And you can get the latest all the time at abcnews.com. We hope you're having a good holiday week. We'll see you later tonight.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
We'll join General Hospital after these messages.